Welcome to another episode of Chop It Over Soops. Man, this is a special one. I got the one and only, one of the dopest MCs, triple, double entendre, GOAT, one of the dopest people that I've known. I've been a big fan for a long time. We got Skyzoo in the building.
Yeah, peace. What's up, man?
Appreciate you coming through, man. This is truly special, truly an honor to have you on.
Thank you,
I got a chance to interview you a couple of years ago on IG, and now that I actually got an official production for a show, I'm so super excited to have you back on. So truly appreciate you coming through.
No, absolutely, and it's good to be here through all the phases. The next one is going to be on TV. You know what I mean? When you got your TV joint, so you know what I mean. It's constant elevation.
Hey, look, I'm already struggling with being on camera doing this. Like this, this is different for me, but I appreciate that. So one of the reasons why we got you here is there's a lot of reasons that we can have you on, but one of the biggest reasons that you dropped a new album, Views of a Lifetime.
Yeah.
And so we're here to talk a little bit about that. Talk about your career and everything up until this point. But just with your new album, just tell a little bit about how your album came about.
Yeah, so I usually drop every year. I'm known for dropping every year ever since 2006 for the most part. I think the only year I didn't drop was 2022. But then in January of 2023, I dropped what you have on your shirt right there. I dropped The Mind of a Saint. So it was like, even though I didn't drop in 22, as soon as the ball dropped for 23, I hit him. You know what I mean? So,
and you hit hard.
Yeah. Appreciate it. Yeah. And the only reason why in 22 I didn't drop is because I was in the middle of building my restaurant. So it was hard to drop anything. But I was working on The Mind of a Saint while I was building the restaurant. So, I was working, and then I was able to put it out in January. But so this is another chapter in the book. My catalog is like one book, and every album is a different chapter. Every song is a different page, and it's another chapter in the book, man. So coming off of Keep Me Company, which was last year, Keep Me Company is all about growth. The album's about the growth spurt that's inevitable, knowing that this is a new thing and you're not used to it, and you're trying to figure it out. The sizes, my white tees went from a 2X to a large, all that type of stuff that I talk about, just literal and figurative aspects of the growth spurt that you cannot avoid, ignore, shy away from. You can't duck and hide it. Boom. So now, a year later, you're fully embraced in this growth, right? You're fully about it. You welcome it. You aren't even accepting it. You're embracing and supporting and continuing to look for ways to grow more. You're all the way in on the growth thing. So now with that being said, you can look back on who you were almost as if it were a different lifetime. You're the same person. It's the same lifespan, one life to live, but it's almost as if that was a whole different life because you're so different. You're so changed. You've grown in so many different ways. So now you're looking back on that previous lifetime and, from the goals you had to the dreams, the aspirations, where you've been, what you've experienced, things that happened that were a win. Like, oh man, I had this goal in mind. I wanted to do this. I wanted to get that. I wanted to make it at this point in my career. Right. I hit those marks. Certain things you may not have hit. And you may be like, yo, I fell short on these points and it felt like an L. But in reality, it might have been a win and you didn't realize it at the time, but now you do as you've gotten older. So just all those different things, man. And I speak a lot about my career. I speak a lot about the early days of my career coming up, trying to figure this thing out, trying to get in the game, trying to get on, that whole vibe. And, just explaining the perils of it and how all that goes, as well as life, as well as growing up, as well as being a man, being a father, all these different things, being an MC, the hats that come with all of the above. And that's Views of a Lifetime.
Oh, so I'm listening to you talk about, you were mentioning earlier in your career and reading up on you and actually just remembering earlier in your career and remember when you connected with Dilla. And when that happened, did you feel like you made it at that point? Did you feel like, I'm good? And then, unfortunately,
Yeah. Absolutely. I didn't feel like I made it. I felt like I belonged. You know, I've always believed in myself, believed in my pen. When I met Dilla, I had a job. Like I had to go to work the next day. You know what I mean? Like I was working at Morgan Stanley. I had to get up early the next morning for work, but I stayed out there in front of BB King's until 3:30 in the morning. You know, me and my man Ayers Knight, shout out to my man Ayers. And, you know, it's I felt like I belonged because when me and Dilla spoke over the next 2 weeks, and the first time we spoke on the phone when he was like, yo, man, yo, your shit is crazy, bro. Like, yo, that CD you gave me was crazy, man. Like, I definitely want to work with you. It was like, wow. You know what I mean? To me, it was Michael Jordan telling you that you was for real. It was, you know, it's Kobe telling you that you was for real. And, you know, becoming a fan of your game and being like, yo, we should go work out tomorrow. Yo, you get busy. Like, that was the equivalent. So I'm a young kid just going to the gym every day. You know what I mean? So, and now Kobe is telling me, or Jordan's telling me, yo, you that deal, you know? So that was the equivalent, because that's how I look at Dilla, you know? So I didn't feel like I had made it. I just felt like I belonged. And it was more validation of like, yo, you belong, B. You here, you know?
So going from Dilla, and then of course you know work with Knife and Illmind, and you worked with so many producers.
Yeah.
And then working with Pete Rock and putting out a whole album with Pete Rock. Yeah. And just having a conversation with Fate, and he telling you don't retire, and like, you know, you've had all of these different things throughout your career, and then you get to today. How often do you take all of that in and just reflect on it?
I think every day. You know, every day I thank God multiple times for what I do, for where I'm at in my career, for the talent that I have. And I just ask him, yo, man, let me do it as long as you want me to do it. And when I can't do it no more, when I shouldn't do it no more, let me know and I'll tap out. You know, so I think I reflect on that every day because I'm very appreciative, very cognizant of what I've done, and other people who were around at the same time in the beginning who didn't get to continue to go. Some of them by choice, some of them by force, some of them by situation, you know. So I'm very blessed and aware of that, you know. So I think about it every day, I feel.
So with all of this that's going on, and you're still able to make incredible music today. So Views of a Lifetime, all of that is pretty much, I feel all of that in this album. And that was intentional, correct?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Right. You know, like I said, I wanted to speak about the early days of like trying to get on and then fast forward to now where I'm at. That's why you have Half Bloom. You know, I probably never know how it feels to sign with Major, but I cope when I'm a ghost and they slide me their paper with the most looking over, and I wrote like I know that we align, meaning I won't be aligned with their favors. You know, so what I'm saying in that 4 bars is like, we all have this dream when you coming up, especially our era, right? Like our generation, our age. When you young coming up, you writing rhymes, whatever, you have this dream and vision of getting signed to a major label. Right. Same way you have this vision and this dream of being on stage at the Grammys, or not being able to walk through the street without getting mobbed, or calling your mother and telling her, yo, retire, you good. You know, those are all things you want when you coming up. Anybody telling you that they didn't want that when they came up is lying. The difference is, what are you willing to do to get it? So we all had those visions of being at the major label. The lawyer is there, the CEO is there, the A&R is there. You signing the contract, they pop a bottle, everybody toasts, clap, they celebrate, get excited. They walk you around the building. This is the new star. You know, we all had those visions because that's the way it plays out. And for me, wanting to have that and then fast forward to not ever being signed to a major, turning down major label deals. I had major label offers. I had situations where I could have been sitting at that table with the gold bottle. But, you know, it was knowing what I was willing and not willing to do. And that's why I get into the next line with the most looking over, the most meaning the most high, meaning God, you know, with the most looking over. And I wrote like I know that we align, meaning I won't be aligned with their favors, like knowing, okay, I want this, but there's a lot of things you got to do on that side of the fence in order to get into the party and all that. And in order to get a career, have a career, you know, the records they want you to make, the way they want you to be, certain things go even beyond that. And there's certain things that I know I'm not willing to do. So like I said, everybody wants that. It's just, what are you willing to do to get it? Some people, there's a line. There's a hard line, like with me. Yo, there's a hard line, and I'm not going to be nowhere near that. I'm not crossing it. Then there's some people where that line get washed away, and they run, you know? So that's what it comes down to. So moments like that. There's a lot of those types of moments on the album, you know. Devotion, you know, my man Val to help me follow my call. We watched Nelly turn into a pop star off of a drive-by song. I sat back like the Mac. My FUBU suit was black. And what I'm saying there, I'm painting a scene. Okay, so the year is 2000 because I got the FUBU sweatsuit on. So I'm definitely early 2000s, you know what I mean? So the year is 2000. And me and my man, we thinking, yo, what do we got to do to get on? And then we watch Going down, down, baby. Yo, street in the Range Rover street sweeper, baby. Cop ready to let it go. We like, yo, he's on TRL talking about clapping people, and he's number one on TRL, and he's diamond. Yes. Wait, they told us the rules was this way. The rules is that way? We confused, but we trying to get on today. Like, what we doing? You know, so that wasn't no shot at Nelly at all. That was a shot at the game. That was a salute to him and a shot at the game of like, yo, you could get on talking about this shit and become a pop star? I thought you had to be this way. I thought you had to be that way. I thought, you know, so those moments of trying to get on and come up early in the game. Those are some of the aspects of Views of a Lifetime.
There was a lot of moments back in that era. I mean, you talk about, you know, Nelly doing drive-by songs. One of the most iconic moments I remember is LL in the FUBU commercial. I'm not in the FUBU commercial and the Gap commercial.
Gap commercial with the FUBU hat.
FUBU and talking about FUBU, and I'm like, yo, like, you know, they breaking rules. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to see them. So I think our era growing up, like, we got to witness so many dope things. And so I always feel like with your music, you always carry that in your music.
Thank you.
From the first time I heard you, I felt like I was listening to all of the elements of hip hop. So like,
wow, that's real.
The 5 elements. I knew I was gonna feel some graffiti from you. I knew I was gonna feel some b-boying from you. Of course, MCing, DJing, and then the knowledge itself. So I knew I was getting all of that whenever I listened to your music. So like, I feel like you've embodied the culture so well in your music.
Man, that means so much, man. That means so much. You know, it you saying that kind of leads into a line on the album, and I don't know if this is one of the songs you was going to tap into, but, you know, we hear, I got a record on the album called Love Day, and, you know, one of my favorite lines I've ever written, if I had to pick 20 Skyzoo lines, one of them would be, I put culture over money, I put strangers over me. That's one of my favorite lines I've ever written in my life. A line where when I was sitting down writing it, I stopped. Like, when I wrote it, I'm writing it and I stopped and I was like, oh snap. Like, after I wrote it, like, I shocked myself, you know, like I was like, damn, like I kind of wowed myself. It was like, yo, like, I put culture over money. I put strangers over me. Like, how real is that? You know, another theme on the album is sacrifice, and sacrifice for the dream, sacrifice for the goal, sacrifice for others over yourself. And what I'm saying on that, it just goes to the culture thing. I put culture over money. I put strangers over me. So I put the culture over the money. There was many a time where I could have went one way and been all about that. Made the money, made the 200-300 million, made the $50 million tours and all these different things that we all come in the game for, to be filthy rich, along with being respected and loved and all those things. And okay, I put the culture over that. Like you said, you felt like you felt the culture as soon as I rhymed. I could have ignored that and went another way, right? So I put the culture over the money. I put strangers over me, meaning I put the fans over me. I don't know the fans. The fans know me because they go get the music. They come to the shows. They listen to the music every day or whatever it is, and they become familiar with it. They learn my story. They learn who I am. They know me. Even on a literal sense, I can run into somebody in the store. I don't know them, but they know me. They were like, oh, that's Skyzoo. It happens all the time. So like, if you notice me, you know me. I don't know you, you know? So I put strangers over me, meaning like I could have worried about, yo, how I'm going to do this to make sure my great grandkids don't ever have to do anything, whatever. But instead, I said, I want to make the best music possible. I want to support and feed the culture, and I want to speak for people who can't speak. I want to be somewhat of a revolutionary type voice in my own little engine that could weigh, right? Like in my own way, have this message and have this voice that carries on, like I used in the skit at the end with Nina Simone, where it was like, artists have a duty and all that. I could have ignored that duty and that job and all that, but I put strangers over me. How real is that, right? You put your kids over yourself. You put your woman over yourself. You put, your best friend, your family, your parents, people that you ride with, that shoulder to shoulder with you, that been through the thick and thin with you. But strangers, I put strangers over me. That's a sacrifice, man. Some people may call it ignorance, putting strangers over yourself. It's a sacrifice, man. And it just goes back to what you were saying a minute ago.
So you just answered one of the questions I was going to ask. One of my questions for real was, what is your favorite line from the album? And
without a doubt. Because that's one of my favorite lines I ever wrote in life,
That's crazy. Like, that's dope. And then, you answered a couple of questions. Like, one of my questions is like, do you feel more free now than you did before? And the answer to that is yes. Like,
before and when? Like, so when is the before?
Early on in your career, do you feel like do you feel more freedom now? Because you're not worried about mainstream or nothing. Like, you found your level today.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm guessing you feel more free.
Yeah. I've always felt free in the sense of the creative aspect, because even when I was fishing for a major deal, I never played the game of, I got to become this and I got to ignore these types of records and this type, you know what I mean? Like, it was always, I'm making the music that I want to make, where I can make stuff for the radio, I can make stuff for the street, whatever it is, but all these things are going to be me, like even if you move later on, no shopping for a deal or nothing, but just making music because I have a fan base, XYZ. When I made Luxury, right? Luxury is a record. The first time a lot of people heard West Side Gun. First time they ever saw him in the video, So like, Luxury is a record that could have been on the radio all day. Luxury is a record that could have been on TV all day. It was on MTV. It was on, BET when they were still showing it. It was on all those different platforms. And it was running. It was on, all those different things. So it's a record that could have been a big radio record if I had a major label or budget. So for me, I was always able to do those types of things. But nobody who's a Skyzoo fan has a problem with Luxury. They love Luxury. You know what I mean? Like, they love Luxury just as much as they love Spike Lee Was My Hero. They love Range Rover Rhythm, which was that could have been a super radio record. That's got a Meek Mill type vibe to it as far as the production.
Yeah.
I'm talking about a Range Rover. It don't get more money in mainstream and all that than that. The whole record is Range Rover Rhythm. Nobody that's a Skyzoo fan has a problem with Range Rover Rhythm. So you see what I'm saying? I'm able to make those records while still being me. I'm able to make the speakers on blast. I'm able to make all those types of records.
Right.
Record Store Day, all those types of records that could be big radio, major label songs. Right. While still being myself, because nobody who's a Skyzoo fan has a problem with any of those songs in my catalog. There's no records where it's like, oh, he was trying to get on the radio with that. I don't like that record. Oh, he was going for a hit with that. He forgot about us on this side. I don't like that record. That doesn't exist in my catalog. So I was making these same type of records back then, but trying to get on. So I've always felt free. Okay. But I understand where the question comes from, no doubt, because most may not,
Okay. So speaking of the Luxury joint, I don't know if I probably asked you this before, but I don't know if you remember, but you did an interview with us years ago. It was for Nerve DJs. It was for the Bubble and Blow, or it might have been for Big Health Show. But you did an interview with Sugar Booger, and I'm a huge fan at that point. Everybody wasn't that hip to you, so I'm in there. I'm losing my mind. It was a day we interviewed you, we interviewed Slum Village, and we interviewed, I forgot who the third person was, but we interviewed y'all, and it was like, I was on, and the album didn't drop yet, so Luxury wasn't out yet, but it was dropping that night. It was coming out, you did the interview Thursday, it was coming out that Friday. Oh, wow. And I'm like on high, and you talked about the West Side Gun, you was like, yeah, I'm doing this thing with West Side, and nobody really knew who he was. He was like, I got to join on here with Westside. And I was just like, okay, I'm going to listen. Like, I'm hooked. Like, now I'm going to listen. And I've been a Griselda fan ever since because of you. Like, You got
Wow.
me hip to
A
Griselda.
lot of people have that story. A lot of people are
Yeah.
like, yo, the first time I heard West was with you. The first time I heard Khan and Benny was with
Yep.
you, you know? So, and they say that. They say that in the interviews. They always be like, the first feature we had that wasn't family was Sky. You know what I mean? Like, the first feature we had that wasn't Griselda BSF was Skyzoo. You know, they always say that. So it's family love, it's crew love, without a doubt.
And y'all still rocking today. So
100%,
it's like y'all still rocking on each other's albums and stuff today. So like that's every time I see y'all on each other's albums, I just be like, man, like that, just to see y'all grow from like this is just always dope. And speaking of growing with other people, you and Von P got some great connections too. And I just talked to Von P, and he was telling me how he was listening to this album in Brooklyn, and he was hearing, like, as he was listening to the album, he was hearing like the sounds of the community and stuff, and he's thinking it's part of the album, but it's like it's really people in the background. And he was like, you captured the soul of Brooklyn so well in this whole album. And he was like, you know, that's one of the things when the minute he landed, he was like, let me play this Skyzoo album because I need this.
That's dope. I didn't know that. So, that's dope. Yeah. So Vaughn is my man.
Do you have that feel of like when you land somewhere, you turn on the album too?
My album, or you mean anybody's?
Anybody's album. Like, do you turn on an album when you go somewhere? Like,
100%.
You play the album.
100%. Yeah. Like when I go to, I remember some of my early LA trips. You know, I go to LA all the time, but some of my early LA trips, I remember when Dom Kennedy was really running around crazy, and I understood it, but I didn't understand it, right? I wasn't super on it. And I remember being out there with some people, some homies of mine, and I was out there for maybe a week, and we was riding around, and they played, what was it, the Yellow album? And I got it. I was like, I get it. You know what I mean? And I became a fan of it. I became a fan of that. And From the West Side with Love Too and all that, you know, When I Come Around and all that. And, you know, I love When I Come Around. It's one of my joints, you know what I mean? So, you know, that's like one example, kind of like Vaughn said, you know. So now, like when I go to LA, I'll throw on some Dom when I get in the rental car, because it's like, I remember like getting it, but not getting it. I was like, I get it a little bit, you know, but that's hearing it in Brooklyn. You know what I mean? Like hearing it walking by the P's and walking by the Brownstones and all that with it in my headphones, but hearing it in LA, in the whip and the palm trees and all that. I got it. Driving through South Central, driving through Inglewood, blasting that. I was like, I get it. And I became a fan of it right then and there. I was like, I get it. I totally get it. And I understand why everyone else is on it the way they are, and sign me up. You know what I mean? It was that type of thing.
You know, Vaughn said the same thing. he said
about Dom?
He said,
oh, wow, I didn't know that. Yeah.
He said the same thing. He was like, yo, when I go to Cali, I'm putting on some Dom, some Larry, whatever, and that's what I'm listening to. Yeah. So,
absolutely. No, that's dope. Yeah.
So that I asked this question to a lot of artists because I'm not an artist. So whenever I go into cities that I know, like when I go to Detroit, when I go down to North Carolina, I'm playing Slum and Dilla in Detroit. I'm playing Lil Brother in North Carolina. Like I'm Foreign Exchange. Like I'm playing all of that type of stuff down there. When I went to DC, I'm playing the other guys like heavy. Like I'm playing that. And so I thought I was weird because and whenever I go to the city, like I'm playing everybody's music that's in the city, and I'm just getting a feel for it. Like I'm like, okay, this is how they came up with this, and you start to really connect different with the music. So I'm asking all the artists, and like everybody's like, oh yeah, I do that too, and I'm like, okay, I'm not weird.
You know what it is too. I compare it to, I have a rule when I'm on tour. Yeah. When I go to different cities, I want the local food, right? Like we go to different cities. You know, I don't want to go to any chain restaurants. I want the local. So if we in DC, you know, I want chicken with mambo sauce carry out. You know, if we in Baltimore, I want lake trout, crab cake, you know, and all that. If I'm in Chicago, you know, I want Harold's. If I'm in LA, I want Lucy's, you know. And if it's places I've never been, the first thing I do, I ask heads, yo, what's the local food? Not even necessarily the local restaurant, of course, that too, but what's the local cuisine? Like D-Moore's crab cakes and, New York, of course, being from New York, is pizza. You know what I mean? So if somebody came from out of town, they would have to get pizza, So it's like, what's the local cuisine? In Atlanta, it's wings, So it's like, what's the thing? What's the thing in every city? If I'm in Cleveland, I'm going to be like, yo, bro, what's the thing? You know what I mean? What is the local thing that y'all are known for?
You might not like our thing, but we got Polish boys. And it's not, Polish boys is not your typical Polish boy. It's it's a fried sausage. It's French fries. It's barbecue sauce and coleslaw, and
all on one thing.
All on one thing. Yes.
Okay. What kind of sausage is it? Pause.
I think it's beef.
Okay.
Beef.
I'm with it. If it's pork, I can't do it. But if it's beef or turkey or chicken, I'm with it. I gotta try it.
Well, when you go wherever you go, you can ask. You can make sure it's beef.
Different options. Yeah.
And you got the different options, but they like sausage. And they fry it up, and
crazy.
But it's a Cleveland thing, and so like, we like it, but
it's called a Polish boy.
Yeah, it's a hit or miss.
All right. I gotta write that down. But see, that's what I'm saying. So I would be like, yo, get to Cleveland, yo. Now it becomes what's the best Polish boy spot? You know what I mean? So it's the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like I think of the same thing. Like whenever I think of food and music, it's hand in hand. Like I got to hear what's local in the music scene when I'm there, and I got to eat, the local. So it's the
absolutely.
Same way. Like it's
I don't want nothing I can get home. I don't want nothing I can get at
exactly.
home.
That's how it is. So now one of my questions also is. I know I'm like all over the place, but
yeah, you good.
One of my questions is, how did it feel to get that call to work with EPMD?
Oh, super dope, super dope. That came from Parrish. If that was a while ago, but if I'm not mistaken, that came from Parrish. But me and E have been tight and chopped it up heavy as well, and have always crossed paths. And he always shows tons of love and support for what I do. He's a big fan of my work. And it's an honor, man. That's Eric and Parrish making dollars. You know what I mean? So it's an honor, man. Absolutely.
So then one of the reasons is I mentioned Dilla and I mentioned, now I'm mentioning EPMD. You have connected with so many legends, from Chuck D to EPMD to Dilla to, you have a wide range of legends that you've worked with. Some people are considering you a legend now. So how does that feel to be compared and to be put into that category of legendary status?
It's amazing because that's what you do it for. Like I said, if you're not going to be getting the $200-300 million and, 10 times platinum sales and plaques and all that, then as an artist, part of it becomes, what are you doing it for? Now, of course, you're doing it, you love the music, it's your calling, it's your passion, it's your gift, all those different things. But at the same time, what are we doing it for if we're not making this plethora of money that we had our eye on at 10, 11 years old when we first started, along with all the other good things that we wanted to get in this? We were also sold the dream of fame and money when it came to this, right? Alongside of the actual music. It's just the reality of it. So if we're not going to get all that, then okay, that's why we fight for the album of the year title. That's why we fight for the top 10 lists, and we fight for all those different things. So, that's really what it comes down to, of like, okay, the admiration, the legendary status, like you said, being looked at in that light. Yeah, it's like, okay, cool. If I'm not going to get this, I'm getting this. I'm all right with that. I'm great with that, actually. That's a cool trade-off if we have to trade something off. We're not going to leave here with nothing like Denzel. I'm leaving here with something. You know what I mean? Like, so that's why we all look at it like, yo, why do all these rappers care about album of the year and care about a list and care about da-da-da-da-da and being looked at like that? Because we not getting the Drake money and the Kendrick money and the whatever. So we get in this, there's something to make it make sense and to make the fight worth fighting.
Gotcha. And so now heading back to the album, to Views of a Lifetime, So we've already talked about one of your favorite lyrics on the album. What is one of your favorite songs on the album?
Oh man, it's tough because they're your kids, man. You know, they all mean the world to you. But Love Day, Devotion, Hope and Pray, Skies Like, The Wager, all of them. I done shouted out 6, 7 joints, you know what I mean? So all of them, all of them, honestly.
Pardon Me is that's the one that I keep putting on my playlist show.
Right. There you go.
I listened to that. That was I played that at the venue that I play music at for open mic night. And the way that hit the speakers, I was like, all right.
Yeah.
I was like, I need this one. This one hit different. So like this
Absolutely.
is right now. Pardon Me is, that's the one that's up there for
me.
And
and that's the beauty of it, because you said right now, in 2 days that could change. In 2 days it could stay, but change in a week. That's the beauty of it, from the album, the songs, the catalog. The beauty is it's always so interchangeable, and so many different people have so many different favorites. That's when you know it's real. The analogy I give all the time is, if you was coming to New York and you was like, yo, Sky, what restaurant should I go to? And I told you, he's like, yo, it's about this restaurant. You said, okay, what should I get there? And I give you one dish, you got to get the so-and-so. Okay, that's the thing that it's about. But if I tell you go to this restaurant, you say, what should I get? And I say, it doesn't matter. Get whatever you want. You could pick you could look at the menu blind and just point. It doesn't matter. It's going to blow you away no matter what. That's when it's like, yo, this restaurant is for real. Same thing with an album. Same thing with a catalog, right? No one has there's no one favorite Skyzoo album. Everybody's favorite is different. I don't care who you talk to. You got your Easy Truth. You got your Views of a Lifetime. You got your Keep Me Companies. You got your Dream Deferreds. You got your Peddler Themes, which was a 6-7 song EP I did in a couple weeks. You got your Great Debaters. You got your Theo vs. JJ, which was a mixtape. You got your Retropolitans. You got your In Celebration of Us. You got your All the Brilliant Things. You got your Mind of a Saint. Yep. There's everybody got a different favorite. So when you start talking this catalog talk, like I said on Half Bloom, you know what I mean? Only a few in the room could do this resume talk. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm talking. Like, yo, we talking about a catalog that's like, yo, everything.
Greatest catalogs.
Thank you. Thank you.
From top to bottom, you got one of the greatest catalogs.
Thank you, man. There's no duds. There's no kinks in the armor. There's no, I wish he didn't do that. He tried to do a girl joint there and it didn't go right. He tried to go for a club record and it didn't go right. When I do the girl joint or the club joint, you get Record Store Day. You get The Knowing. You get Women Who Could Cook. You get Speakers on Blast. You get Luxury. You get, like, you know what I mean? Like, you like, yo, nah, hold up. You get Range Rover Rhythm. You know what I mean?
So what's the other one? It's another one, Flowers. The Flowers joint.
Bodega Flowers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that
went viral. I think that's still going too.
Yeah, that went viral on TikTok. Yep, absolutely. And I didn't even know, because I'm not on TikTok. I didn't even know. My little cousin hit me. She's like, well, at the time she was 16. She's a little older now because it was a couple years ago. She was 16 and she hit me and was like, hey, cuz, congrats on going viral. And I was like, what? Like, viral on what? YouTube? And, she was like, no, on TikTok. She on TikTok all day. Yeah. But I was like, what are you talking about? She was like, your song Bodega Flowers is everywhere. I was like, really? And she had to send me links. I'm looking at people links on TikTok through the web browser, because I didn't have TikTok, and it was this video, 1.3 million views. This video, 900,000 views. This video, 2 million views. And it was all these college girls and early 20 girls were spitting the hook, you know what I mean? Or spitting the bridge. And I'm like, word up. You know what I mean? So yeah.
So your resume is solid. So whenever I mention Skyzoo and what's your favorite album, I'm like, just play it from the beginning. Just go from the top.
It don't matter.
Yeah, it don't matter. Just whatever you want to listen to. It's
whatever you want to start at. Whatever year you want to start in. 2016, 2020, 2025, 2010. Whatever you want to start in, go for it.
There's not too many artists that can do that. There's not too many artists.
I don't know any. I don't know any, honestly. Our favorite MCs, except Big, because Big wasn't here long enough, and I don't think Big would have had that problem anyway. But some of our favorite MCs all got that moment where it'd be like, ooh, but that album was kind of dirt. ooh, that, you know what I mean? They all do. They all do,
it's true.
you know?
Yeah.
And we don't play them games on this side.
Because there's a whole fan base that's not going to admit that somebody might not have had a great album.
Say that again?
It's a fan base out there that is not going to admit that one of their goats don't have they got a dub.
Right.
And
there's a couple fan bases with different artists, you know what I'm saying? Where it's just like, yo, you know, nah, like, of course, you know, they got classics, but then there's also moments that's kind of, you know, whatever, you know what I mean? From back in the day or whatever, you know what I mean? So, you know, but obviously music and art is subjective, but like I said, man, you know, my goal is, again, if it becomes what are we doing it for? My thing is just to make the best music possible, you know? So to go down in history as one of them catalogs, and then in 60 years, it's like, yo, that Skyzoo catalog, yo, that's such and such, yo, that Keep Me Company was on Discogs for $3,000. Yo, that so-and-so was up there for $2,500. Yo, because, yo, this catalog, yo, you got the whole Skyzoo catalog on vinyl. You got, oh my gosh, yo, that's a $50,000 vinyl. Like that, you know, that's what it's about, man. Because we go back to Marvin Gaye, I Want You. We go back to Curtis Mayfield. You know, we go back to J5. We go to so many different, we go to, you know, Illmatic and Reasonable Doubt and Ready to Die and all these different albums, Purple Tape and Tikal, and we go to all these different things. And they're all old, 20, 30, 40, 50 plus years, 60, you're talking Motown stuff, you know, so they're all old, and we go back to them, though, because they're so great. So now when it comes to 40, 50, 60 years from today, go back to, you know, Views of a Lifetime and all the brilliant things and In Celebration of Us. And all, absolutely. That's the goal.
So your goal is, I always felt that your goal is always to make timeless music. Whenever you drop 100%. Something, it feels like your goal, no matter what, is something on that album is going to be timeless. And
100%.
That's one of the reasons why you're one of my favorites. Like, you are always on my list, no matter what, because I know I'm gonna get something timeless out of you. So
thank you, man.
I got one more question. Well, I got another question. That's not about the album, but is if you could make an album, another themed album, like you did with
Mind of Saint.
Yes, Mind of Saint. If you could do a theme and it was from The Wire, what perspective would it be from?
So I had this idea a long time ago, man. So my man, Shy Stimuli, shout out to my man, that's my bro. Very, very close and very great MC when he was running around. He pretty much retired, but he was a very great MC. We was coming up together at the same time. And he had in the blog era, he was doing like a mixtape a month, right? Like when the blog era was about just dropping tons of projects so you could be on the blogs every single day and get that recognition. And it was pretty much like content nowadays. So he did something where he was dropping like a tape every month for a year. So he did like 12 tapes in a year. And one of them was the Wire tape that he did. And I remember being like, those moments where you'd be like, why didn't I think of that? Like we all have that where you'd be like, I didn't think of that, man. So the moment he did it, and he didn't really make it Wire themed because he's a Wire head like me, but he didn't make it Wire themed. He used the logo on the front, but it was just a tape about the street tales and all that type of stuff. And it was really dope. He's a very, really, really great MC, you know, when he go to war. But I remember when it dropped, I was like, why didn't I think of that, man? And then my mind started spinning with ideas. And this was like, this was 07, 08. This is a long time ago. Like the Wire was still on.
Yeah.
And the idea that I had at the time, I don't know if I would do it this way now, but the idea that I had at the time was like, if I were to do it, because I wouldn't do it because he did a Wire thing. So I'm not in the business of biting ever. You know what I mean? So, but I was like, if I were to do it, the tape would have been broken up into like 3 parts. And it would have been the perspectives of the streets, the fiends, and the cops. Like that was the idea I had at the time. And doing like 12 songs, like 4, 4, and 4. You know, like that was kind of the idea I had. You know, you had your records that represented for the Marlos and the Michael Lees and, the Chris and Snoops and the Avons and the Strings. Yeah. Then you had your records that would have represented, for the Bunny Colvins and the Bunks and the Keemas. And then you had your records that would have, represented for the Bubbles, and the Whalens, and that side. So it would have been 3 lenses, that was what I came up with. I think I was like 25 at the time, but my mind, as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh man, and I'm on his tape too. He used a record that we did called Cop and Go, me, him, and Mano back in 07, and he used it on the tape. He was like, yo, can I use this on his tape? I'm about to drop. I was like, yeah, go for it. Because my record was already out, so he just was like putting it on his mixtape as well. Right. And then when it dropped and it was the fight, I was like, oh my God, why didn't I think of that? You know what I mean? I was pissed at myself, man. But so probably something like that, because I think I would have wanted to show the beauty and the genius, one of the beauties and geniuses of the Wire, because it's a list of 1,000 reasons why it's so beautiful and genius. Thanks. One of them is the perspectives that they give. You get everyone's point of view. 99% of the cop shows before that were only from the cop's point of view. And then if it was a street show about the drugs in the street, it was from the street point of view. Yeah. So the cops is looking at the streets like they're bad, and the streets is looking at the cops like, you don't understand us, and we getting money and we real and blah, 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 blah. So the Wire's genius was everyone's human, everyone's right, everyone's wrong. So let's just black and white and put it on the table and realize there's nothing but gray area in all of this. That's the genius of it. No one ever did it before, and no one's done it now, because it's very hard to pull that off. So the music would just have to reflect that,
I think the closest show that I've seen so far is probably like Mayor Kingstown.
Is what?
Mayor Kingstown. I think that's
okay. I heard of that. I haven't seen it.
You got to watch it like from the beginning just to really understand it. But it's like an ex-con who's basically running the Michigan up some city up in Michigan through the prisons and stuff like that. And
oh wow,
it's like you'll like it.
Okay,
you like if you like The Wire and you like I keep drawing a blank.
What, Snowfall?
Snowfall. Yeah. I keep drawing a blank to that. Now, if you like all of that, the Mary Kane style, like you'll like that too. It's one of them type of feels to it. So, yeah, that's pretty much the closest I can think of to like
somebody that showed all the sides.
Yeah.
The Wire's whole thing was, everybody's right and everybody's wrong. So nobody's right and nobody's wrong.
Right.
Let's just get to the bottom of this. And and the central character and the theme of the show being a city. McNulty's not the lead. String is not the lead. Marlo is not the lead, because leads can get clapped at any given moment in that show. And other networks would have lost their minds killing a stringer. Wait, what? Like the one that all the women watch this for every week? So David Simon's like, ABG, anybody can get it. You know what I mean? Like, thanks. Anybody can get it. Thanks. ABCG, man. So it's like, that's the genius of it. And at the time, I thought of that. But again, I wasn't going to do it because he had already done something Wire related, and that's my homie. But I was like, there's no way I'm touching that. But that would have been it.
Even still, like that's still something you wouldn't tap into?
I probably would mess with it now because it's been so long, but I wouldn't now because I did Snowfall. So I wouldn't want it to seem like I'm the guy who just takes shows and drug shows and turns them out. You know what I mean? So now I wouldn't do it now. But probably because of that.
You did so well with Snowfall and just your perspective on it. It would be dope to see, like, your favorite show is The Wire. So it's like, it would be dope to see your perspective and how you would change, how you would give us your perspective on The Wire.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. I would have a blast with that. As a Wirehead, I would have a blast with that. I think if I had to pick one person's point of view, I probably would go Michael Lee. If I had to just pick one person, I wouldn't want to pick one because Snowfall's about Franklin, you know what I mean? But The Wire is about so many different people because it's about the city of Baltimore. So if I had to pick one, I probably would go Michael. To me,
Okay.
Michael Lee is one of the most intriguing characters on the show. Of course, along with Omar, along with String, along with Marlo and Prop Joe. But if I had to pick one, I probably would pick Mike.
Okay. Yeah. I think that would be dope. Like to me, because like as I was just going through your catalog and I'm listening to Mind the Saint again, and I'm like, damn, it would be dope if you just did your favorite show just to see like how your mind works on that, because the way that you did on Mind the Saint was just, that was incredible work. So it was just I would just love
and then
to see,
even before that, you know, when I did Theo versus JJ, that was lightly on it. Now Snowfall was direct. Mind of a Saint was direct. It was, I'm Franklin. This is my life.
Right.
Boom, boom, boom. You know, we're in the 80s. There is no Brooklyn. There is no Skyzoo. There's none of that. We're in the 80s. My name is Franklin, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, with Theo versus JJ, it was loose with me being Theo and me being JJ. And more so was about their mentalities and the things that were expected upon them, right? Like that whole project, that whole tape is about the grass is greener on the other side. You know, but there are the moments of me talking like Theo where I talk about Sandra and Denise and, you know, Maxine Kirkwood and all that. And, with, you know, on the JJ side, I talk about wanting more. And, you know, so it was loose, but I did tap into that too. And rest in peace, Malcolm Jamal Warner. That tape is what made him a fan. You know, he had been a fan of mine forever since that tape in 2012. You know, he would reach out all the time and everything. And he, yeah, 100%. Yeah, he was a huge fan of mine, man. He used to show mad love. And that was the tape that did it. Because, of course, I'm talking about Theo. I'm talking about his character. So he was tapped in, you know. Rest in peace to the genius of Malcolm Jamal Warner. But, you know, what the thing with Saint, man, the thing with the Mind of a Saint, you know, it's for me, it's top three. I would say top 3 Skyzoo album, top 4 Skyzoo album, without a doubt, of all time, in my personal picks. You know what I mean? Without a doubt, because it's real, man. What I had to do on that. First of all, nobody else could have did that. Nobody could run that and do that. The genius of it, and it sounds funny saying stuff like that because I'm talking about myself, and I'm not this type. I let other people do that, you know. But the genius of the project is knowing what I could do, but also knowing what I could not do, right? Like sonically, when Joe and I and other guys, when we were talking about the project, there was a list of things that we could not do sonically, just on the production side. It was like, we can't go 80s, Rick Rubin, you know, Run DMC, whatever, early NWA, because even though that's the time period, fans are going to be over that. They're going to listen to it once and be done with it. It's not going to be appetizing for them. You know what I mean? Like, you'll listen to it one time because you're like, oh, I get it. It's a concept. So he's rhyming over 80s beats. But after that, you be over it. Because that was 40-something years ago. You be over it. You'd listen to it once and be done. Couldn't make we couldn't make nowadays beats because that don't fit. Couldn't make East Coast beats because Franklin is from South Central. Couldn't make West Coast beats because I'm from Brooklyn. So like, you don't want to hear me rhyming over a bunch of Rick Rock and DJ Quick and you know what I mean? It wouldn't make sense. And you also don't want to hear Saint rhyming over a bunch of Preem and Pete Rock inspired stuff either, even though that's my lane and my bag. So what do? So there was a fine line middle ground that we had to walk when making that. And that's just from the production side. Then on the lyrical side and the pen, there was so many things I had to make sure I did. I had to make sure I mentioned everybody in my world that Saint knew. So there's certain people on the show that me and you know. Exactly. So there's people that me and you know because we watch every episode. There's characters that Saint was never in the room with. Why would he shout them out? He don't know them. 9 out of 10 MCs would have made that mistake. They would have been shouting out everybody. Saint never met so-and-so. You know what I mean? Why would he talk about them on a record? So again, as much it was the things I had to do, there were the things I had to make sure not to do. You know, another thing, not to make this a Saint interview, but another thing was I think any and everybody who made this project would have used it as a get out of jail free card and said, I can rhyme about all the coke and all the murder and all the money I want and have a blast.
Yeah.
Because, hey, I'm being saint.
Yeah.
Where with me, it was none of that. The first idea that I had when I said I would do it, it wasn't the first song I wrote, but the first concept I came up with was Apologies in Order. The first thing I said to myself was, yo, he got to apologize to Mel. You know what I mean? That's where my mind went. My mind didn't go, yo, let's have a big ass coke party and let's clap shit up on the record, and everybody else would have did that.
Yeah.
It's like your coach telling you could shoot 1,000 threes the whole game. Like, your word? Yeah, you got free reign. Do it. I'm pulling up from 40. I'm pulling up from the logo every time down. Coach said I could go. Nah. Coach said you can go, but you're still playing the game the right way to win the game. Like, that's what I did, you know? So a lot of people would have just turned it into a big ass coke and gun party, and I didn't do that. There's no moments of glorification and this is amazing and I'm lit. There's none of that. The only song that hints at it a little bit is what would I say it would be? Oh man. Dedicated to you and all that you moving through and 2 and 2s. And I wrote the record. I can't remember the name. So pardon me, but
that's not straight drop.
No. Oh man, I wrote so many records.
I can't think. Brick by Brick, not Brick by Brick.
The Balancing Act.
Yes. Okay.
Balancing Act. Yep. Because with that record, you have to mention that he is successful, that he is getting money. He is saying we got more money than God. He is, able to take out a knot and give it to Mel for college. He is able to say, all right, I'm going to just buy this today. Yeah, he's looking over his shoulders 100 times a day. He sleep with one eye open. He got the pistol under his pillow and all that. And his life is real. But there are the moments of, I am getting it. I can buy whatever I want. We do got 3-4 Mexican joints running in and out of the house, smashing in every room and popping off, season 2 when that happened. You know what I mean? Like all of those. So there's a balance. You know what I mean? So I couldn't make it all one way. I couldn't make it all another way. But I wanted to lean one way mainly, which was the way of this isn't what you think it is. Right. This life ain't what you think it is. I'm living in hell. You know what I mean? Like, but there are a few little moments of, well, hell wasn't too hot today. It was hot, but it wasn't too hot today. I was able to go out there, spend some money, get abroad, go to Mel crib, knock that down, run around. Like there's some moments of like we having a good time. Right. But in that good time, we're still living in hell. And that's what I wanted to make sure to get across, as opposed to, this is just amazing. And we throwing bricks everywhere and keys and, we getting money and throwing it in the air. And no. But most people would have did that. Most people would have used it as an opportunity just to go hammer. So
do you contribute the ghostwriting part of you to be able to make, was that part of you, the ghostwriting part, was that a way for you to write this album? Like, was it easier for you to write it that way because you were able to...
Because of having that background, yeah. Maybe. I wasn't really thinking about it when I did it, but maybe. I think it's more so just a testament to who I am as an MC and as a writer. I think if I never ghost wrote a day in my life, I probably would still... I know I still would have been able to make that album that way, because for me, I've been a storyteller my whole life. That's all I do. I've been even records like Pardon Me, and I'm just clapping at things, but my corner was Kings of New York and Invisible Bullies. Bad boys moving in silence, gripping the fully. Panther Pride, but standing by. See where that put me? I grew Corey Maggette shoulders to fit this hoodie, the basics. So I'm still telling you a story even when I'm clapping. I'm talking about, I'm talking, my block, my corner was Biggie and D-Rock. That's what I'm describing. Kings of New York and Invisible Bullies. You know what I mean? Big was the king of New York. D-Rock was always known as the Invisible Bully. That's why his clothing line was Invisible Bully later on. And in case you didn't know who they were, I followed it up. Bad boys moving in silence, gripping the fully. Panther Pride, but standing by. See where that put me? Like, I grew up like this, but I'm still standing by when all this is happening. I'm still standing by on the corner watching all this happen. Panther Pride, but standing by, being in proximity to all this, See where that put me? I grew Corey Maggetti's shoulders to fit this hoodie. If you know Corey Maggetti, his shoulders is like the Hulk. You know what I mean? Like I had to grow up fast in order to fit the hoodies that it's pretty much the equivalent of, wearing these shoes. Can you fit these shoes? You know what I mean? I grew Corey Maggetti's shoulders to fit. So I'm still telling a story in that, so I'm just going back to Saint. It's the same thing. I would have been able, I think I would have been able to write this album. I know I would have, regardless of ghostwriting. But at the same time, being able to morph into whoever my client is definitely a real thing and something I appreciate and I'm proud of and honored to be able to do. And I was able to morph into Saint. And I really had to become him. I remember in Rolling Stone, he did an interview. Damson did an interview on Rolling Stone, and they asked him about the album. And shout to Andre G, who asked him, and they brought the album up, and he was showing mad love too. He's like, everybody's talking about it everywhere I go. Everybody on set was talking about it, and my man Trevor, the executive producer of the show, was the one who put me onto it. And he was like, man, I'm so honored that he did that. Like that was incredible that he did that. Whatever. All great, wonderful things. And I remember in that same article when they was asking him about his work on the show, and he was like, man, I'm ready to be done being Saint. Like there were days when I was ready to be done. As much as I love the show, as much as I'm grateful for the show, there were days when it was like, all right, I'm ready for this to be over, because really becoming him. And it was the same thing with me with the music, even though it was a choice for me to make this album. Right. When it came to the deluxe and I had to go back into Saint for season 5 and the downfall and just how traumatic and catastrophic that was and how it just bottomed out so fast.
Yeah.
Becoming that guy, I was ready to be done with it too. I was like, yo, I'm ready to be finished, because I had to become Saint and it got real dark. You know what I mean? And I was like, I'm ready to, tell the rest of this story and breathe a little bit. You know what I mean? Because I had to go to a dark place. If you know season 5, he never smiles that entire season. So it was like, yo, I had to get back to that. You know what I mean? Say that again?
To the last
except the last. Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. Yep. So, yep.
Yeah. I got to go back and watch it because I hadn't really realized that.
Yeah, except the last. Yeah, my son coming over here messing with me because he know I'm on an interview, so he's being like that on purpose.
Yo, they like that's the age that I had the most fun with my kids. I got a 16.
Yeah.
And
you got a what? You said?
I got a 16 and a 12-year-old.
You got a 16? Yes, go ahead. Yeah. You got a 16? That's crazy.
16 dope, and 12-year-old. And my son, he loves your music too. So like he's
thank you, man. Tell him thank you.
Yeah, he's like sending me stuff. He's like, yo, you know about? I'm like, yes, son. Yeah, I know about.
You like, do I know?
So he loves your stuff. But I was going to ask you about your son too. It's like when you're making music, he's starting to get to that age where he can go on and he can just find his own music. And when you're making music, how often do you think of that? Like, my son gonna listen to this. What is he gonna think? Like, does that come across?
All the time. But it doesn't stop me from telling the stories. It just, when I look at telling the stories a certain way,
right,
I may think of that. But to me, the stories have to be told. The heinous stories, the raw, whatever it is. But I've never been the type of person that made music where I was going ballistic and all that anyway, So I, as far as the language and the vulgar, and I never been that type anyway. So of course, topic wise, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's scene work, street work, gun work, money work, all types of work, all in the music, but it's told from a poetic way. And it's told from a, let's figure this out in some sort of voice of reason, So, with that, I know when he hears my music, I'm okay with him hearing all of that. I don't play a ton of it right now, just because even topic wise, he just turned 8 yesterday, so just,
nice.
Topic wise, thank you. Topic wise, it's still too early for that, but that's really the only reason, but he's also a jazz head, like he's, like I said on the post yesterday, it's incredible just seeing his taste, which came from me, from him being in the house and me playing this stuff all the time.
Yeah.
But some kids, their parents play all that stuff and they swim the other way. I mean,
so
he got his Nemo on and just swim with, you know what I mean? Like, it's Miles Davis, Lee Morgan, Cannonball Adderley, and Charles Ireland, and Art Blakey, and it's ridiculous. It's like, what? It's Don Bird and Lou Donaldson and Isaac. It's like, what? Like, at how old? You know, so that's
my kids. Like, my son he's 16. We went to the Little Brother concert, the last Little Brother concert.
Nice.
And he's a huge fan. So he's like, this is the first time he got to see them. And so we're driving down and, you know, it's an 8-hour ride. So we're driving 7-hour ride. So we're driving and he's like, yo, can we listen to, what did he say? He said Slum Village. He mentioned you. We listened to, we listened to Retropolitan.
Okay.
Because he's a Pete Rock fan, so he was like, "I'm gonna
mine too." He's Pete's favorite producer. Yeah.
So so he's like, he's listening to this music, and I'm listening to him talk about just the different songs and the different. It's just amazing when your kids, when you see what they like. You know, it's fun. Like, it's seeing what you create and seeing their views and it's an amazing feeling. So when I saw
absolutely,
post,
man, and my apologies on the interruptions. If you got to chop and edit, it's all good.
I have kids, so it stays. Like, I have kids, like I know exactly how that is. You know, they knock on the door and it's like, yo, I'm in an interview. It's like, oh yeah, okay, bye, Dad. You know, like,
right. But by the way, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand it all. So it's like, it's having kids and watching them grow and music is probably an amazing thing. Like, I just remember, like, my kids loving music because I love music, and it's watching them grow with that. It's an amazing feeling. So, like, I was watching reading your post yesterday, and just like your best friend is like seeing that.
Absolutely, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
As a father, like, my kids are my best friends too. So it's
without a doubt, baby. Absolutely.
That feeling is like the highest feeling that you can have to me. I was like, it's an amazing feeling. So I'm
nothing better. Yeah, without a doubt.
How you feel about that?
Without a doubt, nothing better. Without a doubt.
So, you know, shout out to you. Shout out to, you know, being a dad, being a husband. Doing all those amazing things. So, like, that's shout out to that. Just real quick. I'm struggling. Like, my mind is going. Like, I had so many different questions.
Man.
No, here it is. This is the one quick question. What is something that fans might miss if they're really not listening to this album?
I mean, the layers, like every album, the layers, you know, this is not the album you put on when you vacuum in your house. This is not the album you put on when you know, run around or you at a barbecue and there's, 50 people in the backyard cookout. But none of my music is that. None of my music is that, because you got to really listen. This is the album when you with your son on a 7-hour drive. This is the album when you are on a train with your headphones and you locked in, right? And it's just you and the world is kind of muted out because your headphones is on. This is the album that you listen to when you driving to work or driving home or, on a plane, on a flight. Headphones, This is where you can really sit and listen and interpret and break down every line. But it's not just this album. All of my music is like that. That's my category. There are some people where you throw on their records when you clean in the house, and that's great. I got some of those, records in my playlist that, I want to listen to. And I'm like, yo, I'm going to put on so-and-so joint because I'm vacuuming the house, or I'm doing the dishes, or I'm cooking, or I'm doing laundry, or whatever it is. Or, I have a whole gym playlist. I have a gym playlist of just like really energetic, raw, like all my DMX, all my MOP, that's my gym playlist. You know what I mean? Like I have all that when I go to the gym, So, but my music work in the gym too, because you got your headphones on and you working out. But my music is very, I don't have to do anything but listen. because I'm not going to be able to do anything else but listen, because I got to break all this down,
Right.
to appreciate it, to understand it, to respect it, to get it, to rewind over and over and over and keep falling in love with it, So just know that. But that goes for this album and all of my work. That's my card. Every restaurant got their thing. That's my thing.
Facts. So that's okay. So yeah.
Yeah.
Real quick about this. Real quick. I noticed that he has waves, and I noticed that you don't.
Yep. So at all.
I'm in the same boat. My son got dreads, and I don't. And I'll be looking at him, I'll be like, "Yo, like, can I have some?"
I'm Boris Cujo over here, baby. You know what I mean? I'm good. I'm Boris Cujo over here. I'm shining, Mr. Clean. I've been rocking the baldy for years now, man. I love it. I shave every single day. Every morning I shave. You know what I mean? It's self-imposed, like Jada in the 90s. You know what I mean? So
I'm almost there. I ain't made it to that.
Go for it, man. Listen, let me tell you something. The love is there with it, for lack of a better term. The love that comes with it is through the roof, man. You're going to be like, I should have did this years ago. Like, the love that come with it is through the roof. You know what I mean?
I'm almost there. I might do it.
Go for it, man. It's freeing. You go to somebody's wedding or something, you take your hat off, it's all good. You know what I mean? Or you get in the pool, it's all good. I used to be in the pool with a do-rag on, you know what I mean? Because I had the dark Caesar, but, the sun was starting to come out, you know what I mean? And so you know what I mean? All those different types of things. But we just go, I go super hard on the waves with him, you know what I mean? And they kicked in like crazy, since he was like 3 years old, you know what I mean? So they kick in crazy. The routine every night. Hit him hard, lay it down in the morning, get out the tub, hit him hard, lay it down on the way to school. Then when you get to school, take it off. You know what I mean? He know the routine. So yeah.
So he's coming up. You just turned 8. He's coming up on the age when you started rapping. Are you teaching him that too?
I haven't, but he messed around on his own, just being silly. Like he does it to kind of tease me because he know what I do. He loves records of mine. His Skyzoo album is Retropolitan. He loved Pete. You know what I mean? I put him on to Pete, Preem, Dilla, Al, couple heads, and I asked him, who you on? He was like, Pete. I mean, he loved Pete. So he messes around just to kind of like tease me. Like he'll walk around the house rapping, he'll spit some of my stuff. You know what I mean? He'll walk around the house. He'll be like, my son's a comedian. He'll be like, Dad, I'll be like, what's up? He'll be like, I made it like that. I bought it like that. I'm living like that. My ALX is trying to give you a pat. And I'll be like, yo, go sit down, man. You know what I mean? Like, he'll tease me. And he'll be like, you know what, Daddy? And I'll be like, what? He'll be like, because it was record store day. Yo, sit down, man. You know what I mean? So he'll tease me with it. But
that's dope.
He wants that trumpet and that sax, man. That's what he's on.
He
wants that. Yeah, he's all about that.
He's gonna be the new Terrence, Martin.
And Marsalis's and all of them. You know what I mean? He on that. That's why I said he don't know what's on the, none of them on the radio. It's kids his age in his class that know all that, all that stuff going on the radio and all that stuff that they shouldn't know. Right. And he don't know none of them people. If you name them people, he'll be like, who? Like he don't know none of them are. But he'll tell you Dave Brubeck. He'll tell you Art Blakey. He'll tell you stuff from the 50s. All of his heroes. He'll be like, Daddy, where's so-and-so? And I'll be like, he's in heaven. All his favorite jazz musicians will be like, he's in heaven. He's in heaven. That just shows you the era of the music that he likes. Every morning he listens to Kind of Blue. Every morning going to school. Every morning he listens to Kind of Blue. You know what I mean?
That's because of you. It's
by choice. He does it by choice. But yeah, because he heard it as a baby in the car seat, his whole upbringing. So now he's like, yeah, Daddy put on so what? Daddy put on so what? Can you put on so what? Please, can you put on so what? I'm like, all right, give me a second, dude. You know what I mean? So that's him.
Yeah, that was my son when he was like around that age. It was James Brown for him. It was
that's real.
James, and I remember him, he was like 4 or 5 or something. He was going to daycare and he was singing Make It Funky. but he couldn't really say it. So so we got a call from the people like,
it sound like something else.
I don't know what he's saying, but I was like, no, he's saying make it funky. That's what he's saying, make it funky. So yeah, it's what you bring them into, and you know,
absolutely.
just the fact that they continuously doing that, it's amazing. It's an amazing feeling.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's the best thing, man. It's incredible.
So I appreciate all your time with me, and this has been an amazing interview. I learned so much more about you, and truly appreciate you coming to this platform. The first interview I got with you was on IG, and now you know, you on Chop It Up with Soops on the NPN network. So I truly appreciate you. Can you let everybody know how they can get in contact, or not get in contact, but how they can keep up with tours, merch, music? Just let everybody know that, please.
Yeah, everything is on my social media. You know, I run all my pages myself. So Instagram at Skyzoo the writer, Twitter at Skyzoo, Facebook, I think it's Real Skyzoo or the Real Skyzoo. I forget which one exactly. But those are all me. I run them myself. So if you hit me, if you DM me, if you send a message, whatever it is, that's me reading it, responding, posting, and all that. And that's the best way to know where I'm at, what I got going on, where I'm gonna be at. Mm-hmm. And when new music drops and merch and all those different things and videos, and you know, we've come so far, but we still have so far to go. You know, we've come so far, but we still got so much more to go as far as this journey and the ride and the journey of Skyzoo as the MC, the writer, the lyricist, the musician, and all those different things. And views of a lifetime right now, I know we touched on it a good bit, but we also drove into some other parking lots, which is totally fine. But views of a lifetime right now, it's according to the people, it's amazing. It's incredible. I agree with them wholeheartedly. It is a special body of work. It's short. It's 36 minutes, 9 songs. That's why I called it an EP. But some people was like, yo, that's an album in 2025. And I'm like, cool. Call it what you want as long as you call it great. You know what I mean? Like, call it what you want. EP, album, I don't care as long as you call it great. But it is a special body of work, man. The return of the 3-verse, you know what I mean? The return of the 3-verse songs. Yes. And it is loaded beyond belief with these layers, like always. Just continue to get familiar and get to know me more, like you said.
Yeah, I meant to mention that, like, this is probably one of the first albums I heard in a long time with 3 verses. Like, yeah, it's been a while.
The return of the 3-verse, baby. And I'm not saying it's gonna be like that on every song, every album, but just being comfortable doing 3 verses. Yeah, you got to rap a little more. Yeah, rap. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you got other heads. I want to do 1 verse and 3 hooks. Like, nah, rap. Yeah, you came here to rap. You know what I mean? Let's do it. You can't open a restaurant and only sell appetizers. Like, come on, like let's cook. You know, so same thing.
And just to let everybody know, like, this album, you drop almost every year. Well, you drop every year except for that one. But this year is probably one of the greatest times for hip hop, with Mass Appeal, with Clips, with with the other guys and what they're doing. Like,
absolutely,
what's going on over there is amazing. So it's like what you guys, and this album is on that label. It's on Hip Hop. So Von P, Shay Noor, this views of a lifetime, like, hip hop is in a great space, and you have been contributing to that great space. I just want to thank you and give you your flowers for that.
Man, that's real.
Appreciate how you keeping the culture alive. If you don't receive your flowers, I hope you receive these flowers. Like, if you're not,
without a doubt, like, man. Listen, everyone is important, man. I get the love every day, but that doesn't mean it doesn't make the love that you throwing insignificant or minute or anything like that, man. So I appreciate it 100%.
So I truly appreciate you, man. And again, I'm always at awe, like, when you jump on, like, the fact that you came to my little show. I just seen you dropping bars on a bigger platform, and I was just like, yeah, like, you about to come to an interview with me. Like, this is dope. So I thank you so much. I'm with a love that. That's it, man. I'm with a love that. And I'm all about reciprocating it, and we keep that going. Appreciate you. And again, my platform is open. Can't wait for you to come out with more things, and we can talk more about everything that you got going on. Real quick, are you going on tour?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
There's some spot dates already lined up. I'll be January 8th. I'll be in Greenville, South Carolina with the Jizza. I think the spot is called Radio Room. January 23rd, I'll be in Atlanta, Drunken Unicorn. And there's some more stuff coming up. Those are the first 2 joints I have, in a couple weeks in January. January 17th, I will be at Bar Red in Denver. So there's a couple things coming up. But yeah, I'm putting something together. I'm trying to put together this little Ohio run right now. I was talking to my man, Jay Rawls, about it. So hopefully, him and I was talking earlier today, actually. So hopefully we can pull that off, man, and we get out there and, make something happen.
Like, please come back to Cleveland.
Let's do it.
I hope that happens. And you got to come get a Polish boy.
Yeah. Absolutely. I gotta see what that's about.
So truly appreciate this time. Please check us out. YouTube, NPN Network, Chop It Up with Soops. Just hit me up, Soops Kitchen on everything. Peace.
Much love.